The Loxahatchee River watershed is a big ecosystem. And all that fresh water makes its way downriver through the cypress swamps and the mangroves. Estuaries are thriving places where we see lots of juvenile fish and huge diversity in wildlife.
South Florida is really about water. It's its biggest asset. I think all of us are drawn to water. It's really important to make sure that the water bodies are clean.
Most people think that the storm drains connect to the sewer, which is then treated as wastewater. But in our area, that isn't the case. Stormwater drains are there to protect our homes and our businesses from flooding during major storm events. But I bet you didn't know that our storm drains are actually connected directly to our river. Well, what that means for us is that anything that is in our storm drains goes directly into our rivers.
For the most part, what goes down the storm drain, those inlets that you see near your homes, go pretty much directly into surface waters. Stormwater's been identified as the #1 contributor to surface water pollution in the country, not just in Florida.
Some of the issues we're facing now are vegetation removal, any type of illicit discharge, anything that enters our canal system that is detrimental to the water quality.
Jones Creek is one of those places here in Jupiter that we're seeing some of these problems really manifest. And we want to prevent these types of problems from growing and extending out into other places in the Loxahatchee River. So in Jones Creek, there's toxins, a low dissolved oxygen level, and now we can't even go there to swim. We want to be proactive and take care of our river.
It's always easier to remove something or deal with something if you eliminate it at the source.
You know what's great about living here in South Florida? We have all kinds of water and ecotourism that goes on here.
People love to travel, and the last thing people want to see are any types of illicit discharge, any debris.
The quality of our water directly affects how successful our economy is. If we have poor water quality, well, no one's gonna wanna go kayaking or snorkeling or fishing in that water. And one of the things that we can do is prevent pollutants and things like that getting into our water through storm drains and stormwater runoff. So there's some things that you can do to help out. First, I'm going to recommend that if you have to use fertilizer, that you use a nitrogen-based fertilizer instead of one that's phosphorus-based. If you can eliminate fertilizer altogether, even better. If you have grass clippings, bag them up and put them out with the trash. And if you're using a landscaper, ask them not to blow the grass clippings into the storm drain. The grass clippings can break down and decompose, plus they're carrying all that fertilizer on them as well, which we want to prevent from going into the river. You can even change your landscaping. Using native plants reduces the amount of water that you need to irrigate your lawn, and you don't need fertilizer because they're from here and they can grow in this climate. So I would definitely recommend that as well. And if you're walking along in your neighborhood and you got your best friend, your dog out, just make sure that you take that doggy bag home with you and put it in your garbage. Don't put it down the drain. Same with cigarette butts and other garbage. Just take that home with you and put it in your regular garbage. I've lived here in Jupiter and Tequesta for about 20 years now. And when I first moved here, I was just in love with all the natural areas that we have here and what a great community it is.
I think that the biggest solution to the problem that we have with stormwater runoff is actually public education and letting people know what they can do.
I've been at South Indian River for 28 years. I have seen many changes in my time here, but the one thing that I truly enjoyed was the people that moved out here because they know the environment.
there are lots and lots of people that are working on the problems and trying to find solutions.
Our firm has been the district engineer probably for 50 years, so we're very familiar with the system out here. The structure on Canal 5 serves a purpose of both flood protection and water conservation, as well as a water quality function. The detention allows for the sediments that are transported in the runoff to settle out, so the water that flows over the top of the weir structure is cleaner.
Well, these control structures are very beneficial. What comes out on the other side is cleaner water that people are able to enjoy. But we feel we're a big part of that in keeping the water clean.
So Dover Ditch drains water from the residential areas in the northern part of Jupiter and the southern part of Tequesta. But the ditch over time has started to deteriorate. You can see the banks have sloughed in, sand is being washed in and running down into the river and causing a lack of clarity or turbidity in the river. And the habitat that you would see under normal circumstances in a part of the estuary like this is really diminished. And we're looking to create an enhancement in partnership with the village of Tequesta and the town of Jupiter. Instead of just being a straight channel that's more bulkheaded, we'll put in a living shoreline with a meandering channel that will really create a habitat here that hasn't existed previously. Working on a project like this is participating in a community of folks that are all working to enhance and protect the Loxahatchee River and the estuary.
Public education gets to the source, letting people know what they can do to help to curb the problem with the water quality in our receiving water bodies.
The Loxahatchee River is the first National Wild and Scenic River in Florida. And it was designated as a National Wild and Scenic River back in 1985. This happened because a lot of people in our community were very passionate about protecting and preserving the Loxahatchee River that they had grown to love. And as the river continues to make its way, it exits out through Jupiter Inlet. That's when it hooks up with our coral reef system. Those beautiful fish that you see out on our coral reef spend part of their life in an estuary like the Loxahatchee River. And so we need to protect the freshwater sources, the saltwater sources, and really make sure that our water quality in these estuaries is the best that it can be to support the wildlife that lives there.